Hey, it's the Empire. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon for more videos. We taking over. Let's go, champ. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's go.
Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Backstory Boxing. Now, man, Deontay Wilder, man, he makes Fox News. This was shocking, man. I'm over here looking at Deontay Wilder, doing some research on the guy, and next thing I know, I see him on Fox News, and for the wrong reasons, man, for the wrong reasons. Now, I'll link it in the description, but I think I'll have it in the timeline here. It says Deontay Wilder's comments about opponent's death against the spirit of our sport. WBC president says. Now, Deontay Wilder made a comment about how he's going to beat Dominic Brazil, and Deontay Wilder said, and I quote, "If he dies, he dies." And the WBC had to come out and say something about these comments because apparently people were getting mad about it. So the WBC took it upon themselves to say something like there would be a hearing addressed and an investigation addressed. Right now, this is from the WBC president. This is on our Twitter, and it says, and I quote, "I have seen Deontay Wilder's comments, which are regrettable and completely against the spirit of our sport. I've known Deontay Wilder for a long time, and he's not the person he portrays in such comments. His metaphors are against the WBC code of ethics and will be addressed in a hearing." Now, people are really upset about this, man. I actually just watched a thing about on Show Sports, Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman addressing this, and they're talking about how boxing is a sport where you're licensed to beat a guy, until the ref stops the fight. You're obligated to actually do that, And they actually broke down how I'll link that in the description too. So I'll link the Fox News article in the description. I'll probably have the Mercedes Solomon thing in the timeline, but then the Max Kellerman thing, I'll probably have the link to that so you guys watch it yourself. But they talked about how, if Deontay Wilder decided to fight and then didn't throw any punches, there'll probably be an investigation for that too. And I agree with that, man. Uh, in boxing, you're actually incentivized to be aggressive in the ring. If you're aggressive in the ring and you drop somebody, you get more points for doing that. So this whole thing of, not being aggressive in the sport and not trying to knock your guy out, well, people want to see that. And if Deontay Wilder didn't have so many knockouts and he wasn't, 40-0 and 38 knockouts or somewhere around there, people wouldn't be talking about him as much. But they are talking about him because the way he knocks people out. His last fight or his last knockout was with Stavern, and that's what got him big on social media was that knockout. It was a crazy knockout. Romain Stavern. It looked good for the cameras. It looked good video wise. It was just a devastating knockout by Deontay Wilder. And, people are all getting all shook about Deontay Wilder's comments. Now, Mike Tyson talked about back in the day how he was going to eat people's babies, in the ring. Even Roberto Duran said some pretty controversial things back in the day when he was fighting, It's just boxing. If you look back in history, people say things, violent things like that all the time. I think Mike Tyson said one time, it don't count if I don't kill him. The win don't count if I don't kill him. So the fact is, this is a hurt business. You're actually permitted to beat people until the ref calls the fight, as long as you're within the boxing rules. Now if the bell rang and then Deontay Wilder continued to hit the guy, that's different. But he's not talking about doing things outside the ring. He's talking about doing what he's paid to do as a boxer inside the ring. People talk about all the time how, I know it's cliche, but people talk about Mayweather and how he's always running, how he doesn't hit hard, how he's always running around the ring, But when people actually get a guy who stands and wants to knock you out, oh, he's too aggressive. Look at him. He's violent. Oh, he needs to be punished for even speaking violence. That's ridiculous. And basically, Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith basically addressed that and talked about how that was really silly. And it was extremely dangerous and irresponsible for the WBC president to say they're going to investigate this and they're going to have a hearing to address. That's ridiculous. That's dangerous. And it actually promotes boxing to not be what it's about. It's about boxing. I mean, it's about hurting your opponents. It's about getting a knockout. That's really the epitome of boxing. When people watch highlights of boxing, most of the time, they don't really watch the defensive aspect of it. They like to see the knockout aspect of it. People like to see knockouts. So, the WBC saying there'd be a hearing for this is ridiculous. And I I don't know why they would say something like that, but everyone is talking about how the ABC, Suleiman Barrera, they're basically trashing him right now. Showtime's trashing him, and other people are trashing him as well because you don't say things like that. That just ruins the sport of boxing. And quite frankly, I mean, if I were Deontay Wilder, I'm not too sure how long I would want that belt, man. You know, Suleiman Barrera is obviously, he needs to choose his words carefully because when you say things like that, it's gonna, you know, you shouldn't limit people what they can say inside or outside the ring. That's not their place. They're not the government. They shouldn't have those rights. And quite frankly, I think that's a lawsuit. If it is some kind of investigation going on, that should be a lawsuit from Deontay Wilder. You shouldn't be able to control what someone says in the ring. You know, WBC is just a belt. It's just an organization. I mean, it looks good just to say you got a belt, but once you got it, you really don't need it anymore. Look at Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury already had all the belts, but he doesn't have any more. He has a lineal title, but I mean, people understand that he's the best because he already beat the best. And he doesn't really need the belts at this point. So Deontay Wilder, man, if the WBC continues with this investigation and they find anything or punish him in any type of way, he should definitely do something about the WBC. Now, I'm guessing they'll be sued for a lot of money. You can't do stuff like that. You can't limit someone's speech. I don't care what company you are. You know, that's not their job. Boxing is a violent sport, and it's historically been a sport where characters have been saying pretty violent things since, you know, the beginning of the sport. You know, so let me know how you guys feel about it, though, man. I thought this is a pretty big deal. Fox News reported it. Suleiman Barrera got on it. Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman talked about it in their show. I thought this is crazy, man. I mean, it's crazy, you know? Deontay Wilder has been saying this for a long time, too, about catching bodies and hoping he'll kill somebody. So I don't know why the WBC is all of a sudden, you know, all of a sudden going to investigate this. It's ridiculous. Let me know how you guys feel about it, though, man. I thought I'd talk about it. I thought it's a big deal. I didn't think Deontay Wilder make Fox News like this about catching bodies. Let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Peace. Geoboxing Empire.